Hi, this is Dennis Pethers with the latest news from the rooftop. And as Christmas approaches, let me wish you a Merry Christmas, a time, I guess, for us to reflect on the most amazing truth in all the world, that the Word became flesh and lived among us. And that mission that Jesus came to begin in the stable and completed at the cross and then being raised from the dead, it's just such a wonderful, wonderful message. And that's what the rooftop is really all about. Equipping and encouraging the church around the world to join Jesus in that mission that he came and he began at Christmas time. So let me just give you an update on a few things that have been happening in the last few weeks as we now get towards the end of this year. One thing that's really exciting is that we've been creating a new video. We had the global encounter back on October the 2nd, which we called the Moment of Encounter. And now we're in the movement of equipping the church across the world to make disciples who make disciples. And so the new video is all about that. It's encouraging the church across the world to step outside the walls and to think about how can we really equip the people that are part of our church to go beyond, outside, share their faith, live out what it means to be a follower of Jesus, and help the world to see who this Jesus really is. So we've been making this video. I was recently at Greenwich Park, filming in exactly the same place where I filmed for the promotional video for the Global Encounter, and inviting people now to join not the moment of encounter, but the movement of disciple making. And as well as that, we were able to film 14 of our pioneers around the world on Zoom. And we've got little clips of each of them just telling the story of what it means to join Jesus' mission by becoming disciples who make disciples who make disciples. And that video should be released by the end of this year, beginning of next, and we'll be sending it out in all kinds of different ways so that you can have a look at that. We'll send you a link to it as well as soon as it's done. Excited about that because it really does mean now that we can look at how we can equip the church across the world to become and make disciples who make disciples. As part of that, we've launched something called the Joining Jesus Disciples Network. We have pioneers and coordinators and ambassadors in many, many countries across the world. And many of them did the global encounter, and now they're ready to say, let's step outside the walls and let's begin this process of disciple making. And so as we set that up, we've appointed 2 people to lead it. It's going to be all over the world, and it's going to be online equipping and live equipping in many, many parts of the world. And the 2 people that are going to be leading it up are people that are already involved with the rooftop. One is called William Arbelias. He lives in Los Angeles, but he's from Colombia, and he speaks English and Spanish, which is great. So he's going to be overseeing a whole lot of that, developing that across the world. But as well as William, working alongside him is Sung Tae Kim, who's from South Korea, who's very, very, very intelligent and a great Bible teacher and equipper. And so the 2 of them together are going to join and oversee the development of the Joining Jesus Disciples Network. And there's so much more to tell you about that as we develop an online presence and an online university and really equip the church in multiple language in many, many countries to join Jesus' mission and make disciples who make disciples. And then the other thing that's been happening recently is we just heard from Burundi, our pioneer Ernesto, who's been out doing it. He's not waiting till next year. He's been out already in the cities of Burundi and equipping the church to become disciples who make disciples and then go out and do it. One of the key things about the rooftop is we don't just talk about it, we actually do it, because the way we learn to be disciple makers is by doing disciple making. There isn't any other way. So he's been doing that in Burundi with lots of leaders, seminars and sessions saying this is what discipleship means, this is what it looks like, this is how we do it. But then they've gone and done it. They've been out on the streets and into people's homes, visiting, sharing the gospel, leading people to Christ, but then importantly, those that are led to Christ, beginning to equip them to share the faith they now have with other people that don't know Jesus. So lots happening. Christmas is coming, so next time you hear from me will be just before Christmas, when I'll just wish you a Merry Christmas and tell you some more about what we've got planned for next year. But as always, thank you so much for your support and your prayers and everything that you do. We really couldn't do this without you. So God bless you. Be in touch again soon. Thanks.